to Rise and Red, the SFU Hockey Podcast, brought to you by Scoff's Hockey Shop and Shoffy's. Meet Mark Coletta, Nick Toren, play-by-play broadcaster, Mark Coletta, head coach of the SFU non-conference hockey team, and Jake Frederick, our producer. Mark, how you doing?
Doing good. It's it's been a long time since we chatted, but lots of stuff have happened, and it's frozen frenzy. So good action all around the sporting world, to be honest.
All 32 NHL teams in on this day that we're recording. The Canucks coming up with a 6-3 win tonight against the Chicago Blackhawks. That's about all I know about what's happened in the Frozen Frenzy. But let's talk about your Frozen Frenzy and your SFU hockey team. As you mentioned, been a while. It's been a lot of games since we've last talked. So we'll kind of go. Let's just start with the U Sports ones. I mean, we don't have to get into every single game you played. You had 2 against UBC, 2 against Trinity Western. Some went your way, some you didn't, but I'd say it was good atmosphere at Bill Copeland for those games and a good test for your team before you headed off to the States. Yeah,
it was good. We had a good training camp. The guys came into camp and did everything we needed them to. The first game against UBC was good energy. I think both teams' first game and I think a little bit of apprehension, but I got into it and feisty right away. I thought we handled ourselves well and played really well. Then the Trinity games back to back, I think we showed, we do have some offensive abilities and good solid goaltending all around. And I think we played really well for 2 games and our fitness levels and pace of play, I think, really shone through. And, then we found ourselves back at UBC and obviously they played a better game, dressed a little bit of a different lineup. And, I don't think we were up to the task at first. I think we battled and hung in there for a bit, but, we took our lumps that game and, sometimes that's going to happen. I think we might have read our own press, got a little cocky and thought we were better than we were and took it on the chin. But, that's all part of learning and making sure you're ready to go. So, it was all around, 2-2 against U Sport teams. And we had some stuff to work on going into the US games.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, tough loss against UBC in one of them, but a tight loss and then a couple of wins against Trinity Western, which nothing to sneeze at, which led you into these games starting October 5th against LIU, your first actual NCAA battle since last January, I think it is. Pretty high scoring game, actually. So it's surprising that game. Ceccarelli had 2 goals. Your special teams 1 for 5, and it was a good battle for you guys.
Yeah, I think after last year's experience and then doing some of the things we did, knowing what we needed and being able to, sit back in the off season and really evaluate what it's going to take to play at that level constantly and on an everyday basis. I think we handled ourselves well. We carried the lead. We hung in there. I think for the most part, we carried the play and we were in the game, and a couple mistakes cost us. I really thought we were on the front foot, and it's part of learning how to win now at that level and not just protect or hope to win. So 7-5 high scoring game. And we were right there that night. I thought we should have won that game. It was kind of disappointing when you lose that game, because again, you're not just hoping to be competitive and get a pat on the back. Good job, guys. And no. This is the message to our guys. Guys, you got to win this game. This is a winnable game. So all around, good effort, but mistakes cost us.
Yeah, a tough one, but back and forth for a while there. Just every time that you scored, they scored, and vice versa. It was a real random game. But then the next day, you had a game against Sacred Heart, a team you played before, I'm pretty sure, and a 7-3 loss. Not too bad. Erickson, Fraser, and Ward getting on the board for those ones. A good PK from you. I think you guys were perfect. So what were your takeaways from that Sacred Heart game?
Well, I think that's one of those games too that the scoreline isn't indicative of the game. I mean, we got the lead again, made it 3-2 going into the third, I believe, and again two goals that just bite you in the ass, and they're actually goals. To be honest, they're just simple mistakes from guys that you don't necessarily think are going to make mistakes, and now they're in the back of your net. The analogy I used to one of the parents actually after one of the games, and just talking, great support from our parent group as well, and some fans and people who see us on the road and alumni who've reached out and said, "Oh, I'm in town. Do you have tickets for us?" So that's always a bonus. So that's good. But what I'm getting at is, it's kind of like you make those mistakes in a junior game, and you get away with them 9 out of 10 times and only give up one goal. At this level, you make those mistakes 2 or 3 times and you're down 2 or 3. So there's no room for error. It's very, very tight and tough. And these guys don't waste time. They don't waste chances, right? So again, you can get away with that kind of stuff in junior hockey and junior A hockey, but not here. So again, I think we were tight, we were close, and the one thing about that weekend, Nick, is we didn't back down. We didn't back down. We fought, and our guys had a lot of pushback, and so that's a good sign. And we got home on short notice, and we're back on the road again in 48 hours, I believe.
Yeah, that was a quick turnaround for you guys, which leads me into the next part. The next weekend was probably the tougher weekend of the two, I suppose. It was 3 games in 3 days. You started on October 11th at Robert Morris at the USNTDP Showcase. This one I didn't watch, but I was following along. It was kind of a midday battle. You had Dolan in net, 25 saves. You guys were close. Like, you led for a lot of the game. It wasn't until the third period that Robert Morris came around, and that seemed like a real hard-fought game.
Yeah, again, the word I can use is disappointing. Again, we're in some of these games, and again, we're playing a little different competition than last year. I mean, last year was great, and we ended up playing, some of the top programs in the U.S. This year we play a handful of them, but, more of the middle of the road when it comes to ranked NCAA Division I hockey teams. So again, you find yourself against Robert Morris, who's probably comparable to us. Again, you look at our lineup, where the kids play junior and what have you. And again, you're carrying the play. And that's the difference right now for us, is like, we're not just hoping to be, good job, guys, a pat on the back and get beat up for the night and let these teams run around and play everybody and all that stuff. But we're 1-0 going into the third. And again, a costly mistake and really not a giveaway. It's a bad read and it's back in the back of your net. Then 2 minutes later, you take a dumb penalty. And again, overzealous and I shouldn't say dumb. It just was an aggressive penalty that, you can't take at that particular time. And now you're on the power PK and again, now it's 2-1 and you're battling and trying to find it. But yeah, that night we thought we were there and should have been a win. And, now we're sitting with 2 wins against NCAA teams going into the fourth match of the season against these competitions. Yeah,
a really close one. And as you said, kind of tough. But then you had to move very quickly onto the next day. Lake Superior State, that was a 4-1 loss. How did you feel about that one? I mean, your goal came from the power play. This is kind of your second back-to-back. But again, probably a little more potent opponent these last two. So how do you feel going into that one? And a little more lopsided score, but it still felt closer.
I have to say it's one of those things where it's 3-2 and we get a goal disallowed. And again, we're giving up goals that are just, for us and our staff and Jimmy and myself, and they're just unacceptable goals. And it's, again, we're not getting beat per se. Nobody's coming down and dangling us. It's not like they're outmatching us with speed and just making us look foolish. Again, we gave up 2 goals right away in that second period, I believe, that were rubbish, to be honest. And now we're fighting back, and we did a great job to battle back and compete and play. And all of a sudden we find ourselves 3-2, goes to video review, and now it's back to 3-1. And we pull the goalie and they get the empty net. So again, a game that we arguably should be having a chance to win. So the first two games of the Plymouth trip at the USA Hockey Facility, they were doable and winnable games for us, and we just didn't come on the winning end of it. And I think what we have to realize is that instead of just trying to play not to lose, we got to try and play to win. And that apprehension and that, let's play a little safe or cautious, is that mentality's got to go out the window now, because we're right there, right? Top to bottom, we've got a real good roster, and I think we can hang and bang with a lot of these teams.
And then you go into the next day, third game in 3 days against Bowling Green State, and it all happened in the first period. It was 4-1 after one, and that's the way it stayed.
Yeah, kind of a different animal. Again, you're moving up a tier, I would say. Bowling Green a little bit, just a little more polished, or a little bit better, a little bit faster, a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier.
Alma mater.
Yeah, a lot of bunch of NHL. I think Rob Blake, obviously, and Brian Holzinger, if you remember that name, I think went there back in the day. George McPhee.
A lot.
I'm dating myself, but yeah, I mean, it's a great facility. And again, they're fast, they're big, and we have to make an adjustment. And again, the first 2 goals were just sloppy, in my estimation, goals. You just can't let those goals in at that level. And again, after that, we figured out how to play. We're physical, didn't back down. And the game was good. The second 2 periods of that game were real good, real energized, real fast in your face hockey. And it was fun to watch. Like I chatted with Williams after the game, me and Jimmy, and he's the old Everett coach and coached the World Junior team a bunch of years ago. And, he's moved back there. He's back at his alma mater. And he was laughing. He's like, that's great. That's what we need. We need to play games like that. And he even said, it's a little different than the Western League. College hockey is just go, 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 go. So you're trying to teach the kids a bit more of that patience and that poise, which, with all due respect, some of the youth sport teams play and UBC does a good job of that. But I think if you can figure out that blend of fast and a little bit of poise, you have the right recipe to be competing for national titles if you're a full member of the NCAA, that's for sure.
Yeah, and you're getting that real taste of that's a lot of college sports is, well, more specifically hockey. A lot of games and a lot of days. You have little time to fit these games in. You're not really playing during the week, so you have a weekend to just fit this all in. So really getting a taste of that. But now you're kind of bouncing out of the NCAA for a bit as you come home again, get some extra home games against some ACHA opponents, who are still very top-notch teams. You got Maryville coming into the town. They're the 9th-ranked team. How do you feel about going in this one? You played Minot State and Pitt last year. Maryville's a pretty good program. They've described the team as, a potential NCAA Division I transitionary team. How you feeling coming back home playing against a team like Maryville?
Yeah, it's good. It's fun to be back home after a couple weeks away. Gives our guys a chance to recoup, get caught up on their schoolwork, and just work on some things in practice. And having some home games against American competition is good. It's hopefully people come out and watch, and we get the building a little bit of excitement in there and give a taste of what potentially could be. I mean, the coaching staff over at Maryville's, recommended to me that, there's some teams in that light ACHA, if you will, that are trying to move and shake and bake. And, I've talked to College Hockey Inc. and some other guys around the NCAA that said there's going to be some more teams making that jump, and it'll probably be the smaller and mid-ranged universities. The big power schools probably won't be jumping to hockey because of, football and basketball being so big and the NIL and the revenue sharing. So, yep. Hockey is more going to be looking for those mid-sized schools to make the jump to NCAA. And I think the opportunity is hot right now with Major Junior making an announcement, or NCAA making an announcement that Major Junior players probably will be eligible. Maryville's, I think, looking at exploring that option, and who knows, maybe that's a catalyst for more to come, maybe even us. So let's hopefully the ranks got some people in there and the hockey's good, so we can put on a little bit of a show.
Well, that's how they described the SFU hockey team. And I'll also, to make this game even bigger, the second game is on my birthday. So
all right.
If that's not a way to come to this game, I don't know what is.
Wow, the tender age of 21, Nick? Is that where you're at right now?
Oh, yeah, 21 years old, yes. Absolutely. I'm not going to correct you there. But the following weekend, you head out again on another trip. Let's talk about those games for a bit. You're going back into the NCAA world. You got St. Lawrence and SUNY Plattsburgh. Talk about St. Lawrence first. They play a few games before they get to you. So far, they're 4-2, and they got a couple OT wins. How are you looking forward to the St. Lawrence game?
Yeah, I mean, again, a team that, that I think we probably match up fair against. And, we're obviously going to be the underdog, but I think, if we do what we have to do to tighten up defensively and play properly and limit the mistakes, we have a chance of winning, in these games. So, the travel is always going to be an issue, but yeah, I think St. Lawrence and Coach Brecky have a real nice team out there. And I've known Coach for a bit when he was back at Miami of Ohio, and having him reach out or get together to kind of set up this game it's always good. And so you go there and you play some games, and St. Lawrence is in upstate New York. It's God's country. It's It's where I lived for a bunch of years when I was at Plattsburgh, so I'm familiar with the area. But yeah, St. Lawrence is going to be fun, and playing those teams in a different conference that that we're not too familiar with is always good as well, right?
Yep. You can watch that game on the ECAC portal for just $5. But I really want to dive into this SUNY Plattsburgh one. It's their home opener. They don't play actually until October 26th, but it's a homecoming of sorts, as you alluded to. It's your alma mater. They won the D3 championship in 2001. Jeff Marshall, a regular Dump and Change guest here. He was also on that 2001 team. How are you feeling going back home?
Yeah, well, we'll have to get Jeff to do some corresponding. I think a couple of the old boys are gonna meet me out there when we go, and so we'll get him back on sooner than later. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. I mean, I still have a lot of friends out that way, and Coach Moff, who me and him known each other a long time, and he was gracious enough to put us on the schedule. So it's gonna be fun. It's some old friends there, and just getting to play in that atmosphere. They support the hockey team really well and support it through the roof, and it's endless stories from my days there about how the local community of Plattsburgh and the fans and the student body does support the team. It's all they hang their hat on out there. I mean, there's not much in proximity of a professional team besides Montreal, maybe, and that's obviously on the Canadian side. So, the hockey team in Plattsburgh is a pretty big deal, and we had some good years there, and they've had some good years recently. So, it'll be a good test. There's a quality team, and we're happy to be there and have a good time. And like I said, 2 games that I think, we're definitely in the market for wins. So we'll see how we fare.
Yeah. And that game can be viewed in HD. What year is this? Via the SUNY Plattsburgh Cardinals for $5. So anyway, we'll see how it turns out. We'll get that out to you. Follow SB Hockey on all the socials and you'll know exactly what's happening.
Mark, you say we got something coming in the mail tomorrow.
Yeah, it looks like the New Jersey should be in, so that's exciting. And they're looking pretty cool. There's 2 different versions of them. One's obviously there's a home and away, and they're red, and one's white and one's red. But I think they're both a little bit different. So hopefully that's a good thing, and people like them.
Well, I'm finally going to be able to see your names and numbers of these right players, and you're not changing it on me in the last minute before the game. So this will be a welcome for me on the broadcast.
Yeah, we'll make sure we take care of you, buddy.
It's always Mark. You always take care of me. I know that. That does it for us here on Rise and Red, the SFU Hockey Podcast, brought to you by Scoff's Hockey Shop and Shoppy's Meat Market. For Nick Toren, Mark Coletta, and our producer Jake Frederick. We'll see you soon. Make sure to follow us on all those platforms, and make sure to watch the games. See you soon. Thanks.